Hi, my name is Colton Hash. I am a settler of mixed European descent. I grew up in the Rocky Mountains in Montana. I've been living on the Lekwungen territory here as a student primarily for the last 10 years. My artwork, Pulse of the Salish Sea, is an interactive data art visualization depicting Department of Fisheries and Oceans data for salmon migration routes through the Salish Sea to the Fraser River, as well as historical climate model data showing weather patterns over this 35-year period. This program is also a rendering of human land use data as well as the road network for the region, and this shows somewhat of the cumulative impact of colonization in the region of Lekwungen and Salish territories. My process of creating this work is using a mix of computer rendering processes as well as artistic visual composition, creating visuals with computer code, mixing different data sources, but doing all this through a process that's highly intuitive and aesthetically driven. I'm interested in data visualization artworks as being able to help foster creative and intuitive and imaginative mental models of ecological systems. So in Pulse of the Salish Sea is showing this high-level perspective of the landscape integrated with the climate and how salmon are moving between the landscape, which is a different perspective that people can reflect on and think about how this ecosystem functions as a whole with all the different interconnected systems. I also think that artworks that embody various perspectives as well as different timescales help us to think beyond our own personal experience as humans to other perspectives of individual animals or of ecosystems as a whole. In creating this work, I am interested in integrating scientific data, showing scientific data and a rendering of the landscapes as somewhat of an embodiment of the settler worldview, but using that to support a more holistic cultural understandings of this landscape in a way that supports ecocultural revitalization of reef net fishing. Learning about reef net fishing, one thing that really stood out to me was how precise and intricate of a knowledge that Indigenous people of this landscape had of fishing, migration routes, underwater landscapes and terrain, as well as climate weather patterns, moon cycles, and various indicators from the natural landscape that they use to determine the precise timing of their harvesting practices. Looking through and trying to access scientific data for similar information, it's pretty clear to me that the settlers' perspectives are not quite that advanced at this point, and that there's still a lack of precise science and evidence and data for what the salmon migration routes are, and even what specific return numbers are year to year, and that the settler perspective is still somewhat trying to catch up to where Indigenous people are with their understanding of salmon. I'm interested in settler society being able to support Indigenous cultural revitalization using the tools of science, using technology in a way that supports the cultural vision that Indigenous people have for the revitalization and use and autonomy on their own territories. And I think Pulse of the Salish Sea and maybe somewhat of a small example of how the tools and perspectives of settler society and of science can be used to support more holistic understandings of how ecological systems function. And having my artwork included in the exhibition To Fish is Formally has been an honor and a really empowering experience for me, especially as an emerging artist. But even just being able to have my work in this has given me a much more of an understanding of the importance and significance of reef net fishing, provided a pretty tangible experience that's empowering for me, and hopefully my work is able to help this exhibition be stronger and more effective, and gives an entry point for other people in this exhibition to conceptualize this landscape in a different way.